Alright, so problem 27 asks us to compare a couple of graphs. So here we want to compare f of x and g of x over these intervals. So let's look at the first interval, so from 0 to 2. So over this interval, it looks like f of x ends up at 14, and g of x ends up at 9. So clearly f of x is moving faster. So we could say that over the interval from 0 to 2, that f of x is exceeding g of x. Now let's look at what happens between 3 and 6. So if I look at the intervals between 3 and 6, well, f of x is 26 and g of x is 73. So clearly things have changed here, right? So from 3 to 6, then g of x is exceeding f of x. So exceeding is just going to be this technical term we're going to use from this. It means it's going faster here. So we could also observe it, they don't ask us to, but that somewhere between 2 and 3 they intersected, right? Because at some point they crossed in order for g of x to start exceeding f of x. So I can say between 2 and 3, f of x and g of x intersected, right? Because we have this graph here. Looks like f of x is a nice linear. I've got a constant change of 3 here, so f of x was moving along. G of x might have started a little slower here, but at some point they crossed. So we're going to say that, maybe this was 2, this was 3, 4, 5. So as we moved along here, g of x started going faster, but to begin with, f of x did. So the last thing it asks us to do over here is to find the average rate of change for g of x from 0 to 2. So this is just review stuff we did earlier in Unit 5. So I can get my x values from the ends of this inequality. So I want 0 and 2 to be my ends. And then I just need to find out what my g of x values are. So g of x at 2 was 9. Put that in the wrong spot. Where's my erase tool? Okay, let's try that again. At 2, g of x was 9. At 0, g of x was 1. So then I'm just going to use my slope formula, right? y2 minus y1, so 9 minus 1 over 2 minus 0. So my average rate of change is going to equal 8 over 2, which is 4. And that's all we need to do for this kind of problem. Just compare the graphs, see which one is further along at which point, maybe figure out where they would have crossed each other, and then we need to be able to calculate an average rate of change.